Brothers and sisters, today we talk about a story that has touched the hearts of thousands of people. The extraordinary life of Sammy Basso, a young man who, despite battling a rare and relentless disease, transformed his life into a testimony of faith, hope, and love. Sammy not only faced Progeria with courage, but he lived every moment as a gift from God, radiating light and strength to everyone he met. After his passing, the desire to see his holiness recognized moved the hearts of many people. An online petition was born and, in just a few hours, gathered more than 3,000 signatures, all in support of his beatification. This popular movement demonstrates how deeply Sammy left an indelible mark on the lives of those who knew him, even just through his public testimony. In these days, Sammy's spiritual profile has emerged, expressing a holiness in ordinary life alongside extraordinary inner depth, said the Bishop of Vicenza, Giuliano Brugnotto, during an event in Mestre. I do not rule out the possibility of opening his cause for beatification in 5 years, as provided by the current canonical procedure. These words are a sign that the Church itself recognizes something special in Sammy, an individual who touched heaven while still among us. But before we wonder what the future holds for this journey, let's listen together to Sammy's words. His spiritual testament, written with love and humility, is the precious gift he left us.
Dear ones, if you are reading this, then I am no longer among the living, at least not in the world of the living as we know it. I am writing this letter because if there is one thing that has always anguished me, it's funerals. Not that there's anything wrong with funerals. Saying a final goodbye to our loved ones is one of the most human and poetic things of all. However, whenever I thought about how my own funeral would be, there were always two things I couldn't stand: not being able to be there to say my last words and not being able to comfort those I love. Aside from not being able to attend, but that's another story. And so, I've decided to write my last words, and I thank anyone who is reading them. I don't want to leave you with anything other than what I have lived, and since this is the last time I have the chance to say something, I will only say what's essential without anything superfluous or unnecessary. I want you to know, first of all, that I have lived my life happily, without exception, and I have lived it as a simple man, with moments of joy and difficult moments, with the desire to do well, sometimes succeeding and sometimes failing miserably. Since I was a child, as you well know, Progeria has deeply marked my life, although it was only a small part of who I am. I cannot deny that it has influenced my daily life and, not least, my choices. I don't know why or how I will leave this world, but surely many will say that I lost my battle against the disease. Don't listen to them. There was never any battle to fight. There was only a life to embrace as it was, with its difficulties, but always beautiful, always wonderful. Neither a prize nor a punishment, just a gift given to me by God. I tried to live as fully as possible, but I made mistakes, like every person, like every sinner. I dreamed of becoming someone remembered in history books, someone worthy of being remembered by future generations, someone who, like the great figures of the past, when named, is spoken of with reverence. I won't deny that, although my intention was to be a great figure for having done good, part of that desire was also selfish. The selfishness of someone who simply wants to feel above others. I fought this unhealthy desire with all my strength, knowing well that God does not love those who do things for themselves, but despite this, I didn't always succeed. I realize now, as I write this letter, imagining my last moment on earth, that it is the stupidest desire one can have. Personal glory, greatness, fame, they are all fleeting things. The love we create in life, however, is eternal because only God is eternal, and love comes from God. If there's one thing I've never regretted, it's loving many people in my life and loving them deeply. Those who know me well know that I am not one to give advice, but this is my last chance. So please, my friends, love those around you. Do not forget that our fellow travelers are never the means, but the end. The world is good if we know where to look. In many things, as I've already told you, I was wrong. For much of my life, I thought there were no events that were entirely positive or entirely negative, that it depended on us to see their bright sides or dark sides. Sure, it's a good philosophy of life, but it's not everything. An event can be negative and entirely so. What is up to us is not to find something positive in it, but rather to act righteously, enduring, and, out of love for others, transforming a negative event into a positive one. It's not about finding the positive sides, but rather creating them. And that, in my opinion, is the most important ability God has given us, the ability that makes us most human. I want you to know that I love you all, and that it has been a pleasure to walk the road of my life by your side. I won't tell you not to be sad, but don't be too sad. As with any death, there will be someone among my loved ones who will cry for me, someone who will be incredulous, and someone who, perhaps without knowing why, will feel like going out with friends, being together, laughing and joking as if nothing had happened. I want to be with you in this and let you know that it's normal. For those who will cry, know that it is normal to be sad. For those who will want to celebrate, know that it is normal to celebrate. Cry and celebrate. Do it in my honor as well. If you want to remember me, don't waste too much time on various rituals. Pray, of course, but also take some glasses, toast to my health and yours, and be joyful. I've always loved being in good company, and that's how I'd like to be remembered. It will probably take time, and if I truly want to comfort you and leave this world without making you feel bad, I can't simply tell you that time will heal all wounds, because it's not true. So, I want to speak frankly about the step I've already taken and that everyone must eventually take: death. Even just saying the word sometimes makes your skin crawl. Yet, it's a natural thing, the most natural thing in the world. If we want to use a paradox, death is the most natural part of life. And yet, it scares us. It's normal. There's nothing wrong with it. Even Jesus was afraid. It's the fear of the unknown because we can't say we've had the experience before. But let's think of death positively. If it weren't for her, we probably wouldn't finish anything in our lives because, after all, there's always tomorrow. Death, on the other hand, lets us know that tomorrow is not guaranteed, that if we want to do something, the right time is now. For a Christian, however, death is also something else. Since Jesus died on the cross as a sacrifice for all our sins, death is the only way to truly live, the only way to finally return to the Father's house, the only way to finally see His face. And as a Christian, I faced death. I didn't want to die. I wasn't ready to die, but I was prepared. The only thing that makes me sad is not being able to see the world change and move forward. For the rest, though, I hope I was able, in my last moment, to see death as St. Francis saw it, whose words have accompanied me my whole life. I hope I, too, have been able to embrace death as Sister Death, from whom no living person can escape. If in life I was worthy, if I bore my cross as I was asked to do, I am now with the Creator, I am now with my God, the God of my fathers, in His indestructible house. Hey, our God, the only true God, is the first cause and the ultimate end of everything. In the face of death, nothing else makes sense but Him. Therefore, although there is no need to say it because He knows everything, just as I thanked you, I want to thank Him too. I owe my entire life to God, every beautiful thing. Faith has accompanied me, and I wouldn't be who I am without my faith. He changed my life, He picked it up, made it something extraordinary, and He did so in the simplicity of my daily life. Never tire, my brothers, of serving God and behaving according to His commandments, for nothing makes sense without Him, and because every action of ours will be judged and will determine who will continue to live forever and who will instead have to die. I was certainly not the best Christian, I was certainly a sinner, but it matters little now. What matters is that I tried to do my best, and I would do it again. Never tire, my brothers, of carrying the cross that God has assigned to each of you, and do not be afraid to ask for help in carrying it, just as Jesus was helped by Joseph of Arimathea. And never give up on a full and close relationship with God, willingly accepting His will, for it is our duty. But don't be passive either, and make your voice heard, make your will known to God, just as Jacob did, who, for showing himself strong, was called Israel, he who struggles with God. Surely God, who is both mother and father, who in the person of Jesus experienced every human weakness, and who in the Holy Spirit always lives within us as we are His temple, will appreciate your efforts and hold them in His heart. Now, I leave you as I said. I don't like funerals when they become too long, and I haven't been brief. Know that I could never imagine my life without you, and if I had the chance to choose, I would still have chosen to grow by your side. I'm glad the sun will rise again tomorrow. My family, my brothers and sisters, and my love, I am close to you, and if I am allowed, I will watch over you. I love you.
Dear brothers and sisters, I am sure Sammy's words have moved you as well. His deep and true faith is an example that also illuminates our own lives. But what happens now? Will Sammy be beatified soon? The Church, through the Dicastery for the Causes of Saints, reminds us that to initiate the process of beatification, a reputation for holiness is required. A common opinion that Sammy's life was virtuous and full of Christian virtues. The first step will be to recognize him as a servant of God, and then as venerable. To reach beatification, however, a miracle attributed to his intercession must be verified. Bishop Brugnotto emphasized how Sammy demonstrated holiness in ordinary life, accompanied by extraordinary inner depth. The testimonies arriving at the Diocese of Vicenza are numerous and full of hope. The journey is long, but the light that Sammy has lit in our lives will not easily fade. Let us continue to pray, entrusting ourselves to his intercession, and firmly believing that his testimony of faith will continue to guide us toward God. Let us know in the comments what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the new videos, and to join this community of faith and prayer. May God bless all of us.